We've made it, guys. Episode 10 of Into the Van. Thank you so much for listening, and what a podcast I've got in store for you today. Drew Dixon is such a phenomenal musician. I've missed him. He's been to the UK once before. He was here in September. And, you know, the case of being a musician and having musician friends is the odds of them doing a show the same time you're doing a show are pretty high. So I didn't get to see Drew last year. He was meant to be coming in April, and we were hopefully going to be catching up at some point. Then, obviously, the pandemic's put play to that, so he was meant to be coming in September. That looks like it's getting pushed as well. So we haven't actually had a chance to meet face-to-face yet. I don't think you could tell by listening to this podcast that we've not met. Drew is such an eloquent, forthcoming guy that's such a fun and absolute pleasure to talk to. So this podcast goes on to an hour and 20 minutes of just us talking alone. And honestly, it felt like 45 minutes. It's such a fun podcast. We talk about, you know, Lynryd Skynryd, his European tour. As an independent artist, he books his shows himself. As an independent artist, he opened for Lynryd Skynryd. You know, we talk about his songwriting process, his work in Nashville. And it's an absolutely fun and lovely conversation I've had with Drew. And I really think you're going to enjoy it. So this is going to be, I think, one of the last few podcasts before the next life is actually out. So if you haven't pre-ordered it, please go pre-order it now. The single Rock Ferry is out. I'm going to put a track for you now to give you a little taste.
Work on my daughter. Father, until the day is done. Work until you can't. Work until you bleed. Work until you won't. Oh, the machine. And you ask yourself, am I free? And you ask yourself, am I free? Buys your time. Think of the money you can't take with you when you die, and you ask yourself.
And if you dig that, head over to my store at mike333west.com and pick up your copy of The Next Life. It's out soon. All the packaging's been delivered. We're just waiting on everything to actually arrive so we can start shipping stuff out. I'm super excited about that. I don't want to take up too much of your time because, again, this podcast does go into an hour and 20 plus. And this is such a fun conversation with Drew. If you've not listened to him before, please go check him out. You know, he's good friends with my good friends, the Plot Hounds. You know, he's good people. His songs are killer. He's a lovely dude. And this is a brilliant podcast to make our 10th podcast go. So I'm super fucking happy with this. So without further ado, Drew Dixon, Mike West, into the van we go. Welcome to Into the Van with me, Mike West. Go! Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. I know you've just said like this is your first like Zoom interaction, so have you not done any like? I don't think I've seen you do any live streams or anything yet during
I've
this.
done a couple, but it's all been like Instagram Live, Facebook Live, through GroupMe or some of the other apps that you can do the live stream with. But I haven't really done a lot, man. I like at the beginning I did, I don't know, a handful maybe. But man, it was just like, I don't know, it like wears on you almost. Like it wasn't helping. It was like it was doing the opposite effect for me, man. It was like just sitting, playing, and like you can like feel that distance between you and if anybody tunes in. And that was like that was such a drag, man. Like what we're doing now, I'd much rather do this where you sit and like talk and then maybe play a song, maybe not, but mostly just like you're actually having interaction, other than just like going live and then you play a song and then it's quiet in the room you're in and you're like, I guess I'll play another one now, and you play that. It's like, man, it was kind of a drag, so I kind of stepped away from it. But I'm happy to be talking to you, dude.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's hard to keep that energy. I know I did one back in March when it first started happening, but my girlfriend's a massive like horror figure collector, so we've got life-size Chucky dolls around the house.
That's
so I set
awesome.
up a full audience of like.
You had an audience of Chucky dolls?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
I queued up on the Xbox on the other side of the room a YouTube video of an audience cheering so I could hit it in between, just to try and do something that was a bit more close to like.
Oh, dude, that's so brilliant. That's awesome.
But even just for me, because it is that disconnect between people, and I think it's hard because I know our government today on June the 8th, or July 9th, they're saying for this weekend they're allowing open air gigs again, but socially distanced. So it's going to be interesting that. But I think the hardest thing.
So, like, are you able to do like acoustic or full band, or have they specified that?
I think it can be full band. I think it's just outdoor gigs, and they'll just kind of socially distance and limit the crew and stuff. I think so. I think a lot of promoters and bands are going to be seeing what they can do over the weekend to rattle together.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you do like lose that like disconnect from doing like a Facebook Live and things, and just seeing like little comments and things pop up. It's a really weird thing to kind of.
And then I forget the lyrics to the song because I'm like trying to read the comments at the same time, and so like that was messing me up. So I had to like remember to like not read the comments while I'm playing.
Yeah, I've just started doing like little Zoom ones like this, so they're more like, I've kind of thought with Facebook people don't engage really; they just keep scrolling and swiping. So I've set up some Zoom shows, and they've seemed to have been better. I've put like a little chat bar thing, and we do a Q&A in between songs and at the end and stuff. That seems to have, for me, that's been like the middle ground for it, which I've been like enjoying. But it's such a weird like way that everyone's had to kind of change and embrace new technologies to just keep going. It's really strange at the moment.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's I don't know, it's been weird here, like, you know, so in Nashville where I am currently, it's like we were in phase 3, which meant that you could start having live music and you could have two people on stage at a time. You can have full bands. And so that was just here in Nashville. Whereas down in Chattanooga, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road, you could have full bands on stage. And so I had a buddy's band go down there and play. But still, it's like, but then, you know, they had the barrier that's normally, you know, 3 feet from the stage had to be like 10 feet from the stage. But then after that, the crowd could just be as close as they wanted. So it's like, man, it's like all the rolling out of all what can be done, what can't be done. It's been so bizarre to see, especially from like the music standpoint, man. Like you never really know. Like, so Nashville's gone back to phase 2 now. I don't even know if live music is allowed right now. Because like phase 2 right now, guidelines are different than what phase 2 was initially back in May. And I don't know. It's very bizarre, man. So I'll be interested to see how y'all handle it. Cause like, that's encouraging. If they're letting you have full bands immediately, just as long as everyone in the crowd, you know, remains socially distant, then that's rad.
Yeah, hopefully. I know I've just seen a few gig adverts for the Netherlands. They've started easing things off. So it's been interesting to see that. But it just kind of seems like, in my mind, it's like everyone's like cavemen and they've retreated back into the cave. And now people are just slowly trying to put their foot out. And right now everyone's kind of watching to see how far people get before the fucking bear gets them or something. And it's really weird. Like societal thing where everyone's kind of watching each other, and then one idiot will run out and everyone will go, so is that the guideline, and is that the baseline? And everyone will go, no, that's not the fucking baseline. And it's where the line is for people is really strange to see. especially like the arguments and the discussion for where that line is as well.
Dude, you're not wrong, man. That's so true. Like, you'll have someone, like you said, running way out, and that's the extreme. So then you have all the people that are in the back yelling at that person, being like, that's wrong. And it's like, okay, well, where in the middle ground is like, or even like where, the full crowd, the line where the full crowd is, like, is that where we're like the right place we're supposed to be? Like, is that like, because like, is it too much us being afraid to go back out? Because that's definitely a real fear. Because, man, when you've been told for, now we're in July, it's happened in March. So you've been told for, what is that, 4 months now that it's a very real threat to your health. It's like, it's pretty scary. Even it's something as simple as going to the grocery store, going to get gas or something like that, man, like it can mess with your head. And so like I've definitely seen, especially here in Nashville, because we've been starting to open up a little more, you definitely see the both crowds. You see the people that are out already every single night because they've been cooped up the entire time. But you also see the people that used to be out all the time that have been still staying in and being very cautious about coming back into the public, really. I was pretty scared at the beginning, man. I was very much, I definitely took it to the, I don't want to say extreme, but like I live by myself. So like, it was like, if I left, I was going to the grocery store, and that was pretty much it. I got to go home and see my family, and that was great. And that was a kind of a motivator for me to stay isolated and make sure that I had, been by myself for a long enough time that I knew I could go home and be safe around them. But even then on the drive home, I had to stop and get gas, and I was worried about touching the gas handle, stuff like that. But now it's like, now that, stuff is starting to open back up, I've kind of gotten used to going out and seeing people in person. But even that's because like, you don't know whether you want to shake their hand or give them a hug or just, fist pound them or like something like you never, or just like stand there with your hands on your hips or in your pockets and just say hello. It's very bizarre, man. It's something that'll be an interesting thing to watch, like in the next like year even, which is weird to say that it's going to trickle out that far, because it's going to be even, that plus more, especially for music. And it's very bizarre. I'm just hoping that with everything, I mean, I'm obviously with us, man. I mean, it's like, I'm hoping that music can get back as quickly as possible. And that's one of those things that's very far down on the ladder of what is, I don't know. I don't want to say important, because to us it's very important. But like in the scheme of overall public health, I guess it's far down on that list. In terms of getting back to normal. So we'll see, man. And the whole bar scene here is it's so different county to county. So like, dude, like the distance of Liverpool to Preston, I would put like that close to like Nashville to, not even to Chattanooga, but I was talking about before. It's like not even that far.
Really?
But it's a completely different set of rules, because you have it's set up entirely different. And so like you can do just 15 minutes south of Nashville, it's a different county, and so all those bars are wide open. And whereas you go coming to Davidson County, which is Nashville, and it's completely shut down. It's very bizarre, man. It's so strange how it's all like being monitored or policed or rolled back. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I think that's one of the big, like, because everyone's kind of seen how America's reacted to it. But people, because Americans are so, like, connected and they have, like, such a strong sense of identity that connects everyone in the country, you kind of forget that it's a continent as well. And each, like, state could be, like, the size of its own country. So the way that it filters down into, like, federal, state law, mayors and things, it's so splintered. And that's really where you've kind of seen this divide, where there's already been so much going on about like different like factions in the states clashing. This is kind of showing how divisive things really are. And then the one true thing that can really connect people is like art and music is being withheld. So is that kind of exacerbating the situation? And it's such a weird melting pot to be in right now that I'm really feeling for you guys over there, and kind of lucky that in this, like in Britain, we've really only got one body of government. Liverpool has gone rogue a bit because they've disagreed with how the government's been handling certain things. Like they didn't open schools when the government told them to. So there's a small fraction of it, but it's like magnified over where you guys are.
Yeah, like it's funny that you say like is the I guess the holding back of arts and stuff like that hurting. It's got to be, man, because that's how people peacefully or organically or naturally express themselves. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that comes from, being able to get on stage in front of someone and sing a song, write a song, read poetry, dance, anything. And so that's been a crazy part to see, like the other avenues, I guess, that people have gone in order to just stay sane, man. And yeah, you're right. Like, so, like the U.S. is set up on federalism so that there isn't one person just telling you, hey, you all have to do this, which is, I understand it. I've been brought up my entire life saying that's what this is. But it's crazy because, like, dude, we have free interstate travel. You go from one state to the other. There's no one at the border, no one checking anything. We have those states shutting down individually or opening up individually. Man, it's just like it's such a bizarre thing to watch now, because I mean, hindsight's 2020. In the beginning, no one knew what was going on at all. And so it's such a bizarre thing to like look back on now and be like, man, like anyone could say we should have done this, should have done that. And I certainly don't know better than anyone else. But like in terms of like now the opening process, when everyone's starting to open up at different levels, that to me just seems like the same thing we did before, where we were closing down at different levels, and it's just creating the same problems again. Like, like we're having to revert back to a phase 2 from a phase 3 because we were open when other people weren't. And so all the people that were in that place that weren't open, they were like, oh, well, we want to go to that place that's open now. And so those people that probably weren't even listening to the rules there are coming here now. And it's like, man, it's so frustrating. Just 'cause, again, I'm ready to get back on stage, dude. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to come like back over to y'all and like and be in England and Germany and Italy and places that where we went and had so much fun. But it's like, right now the shows from April got pushed to September, but that's going to get pushed again. Like, there's no way it's going to happen again, dude. So I mean, probably now I'm looking for early 2021. And it's like, man, it's such a bummer to be thinking about, not playing a live show in front of people for that long. It's the worst.
Yeah, it's such like, even I was watching that new Eurovision film on Netflix with the Will Ferrell, and I was watching them on stage, just so envious. Do you know when you just staring at it like I'd fucking kill to like when they have you seen it?
Yeah.
Where they play in like that Icelandic bar, so there's like 20 people there. And I was like, I would fucking kill to be in that,
man. To be in a dirty, dark bar with just 20 people there, the majority of whom don't care that you're playing a song, but just to be there, man, like to have to load all your gear in and play for beer and a free meal and then load all your stuff back. It's like, dude, the stuff that you didn't know you would miss ever. It's like, that's the stuff you miss.
It's crazy, man. And I think this has kind of shown, like, being on the inside of it, how kind of society has just devalued music, from like Napster in the early 2000s to Spotify paying like 0.02 pence or whatever. And then all these bars closed, and then people, like, I don't know if you saw it, there was an article in a British paper, and it was the top 5 most important jobs during lockdown and the least 5 important jobs, and at the top of that with 71% was artist. And then everyone was like, you can from a logical, rational viewpoint, you go, of course, the doctors, the nurses, the bin men, they're the important ones. Right. But then to have the artists at the top of the least important ones, when you know that everyone in lockdown is binging Netflix, Spotify, video games, buying a shit ton of records, it is just another slap in the face to the creative. Like,
that's an interesting take on it, man, and it's totally right, because like, dude, I mean, during a pandemic, someone playing a guitar on the surface does not seem very important. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're right. It's like, are doctors listening to on their when they're having to work these crazy shifts, when they have 10 minutes alone, are they putting on a song that they want to listen to? Are they putting on a podcast? All that's coming from a creative place. Yeah. And so that's the sort of thing that, like, right, kind of falls through the cracks. And so, I think, I don't know, moving forward, who's to know what will be valued or devalued. But I think, as many people have started, what's the word? Influencing on their own Instagram pages. The amount of people that I've seen start to like, you look at their story and there's 12 dots across the top because the entire time they're just talking about an herbal tea or something like that. The amount of people that have done that, it almost is like, yeah, dude, well, that's like what an entire group of people have been doing as a living for a long time now. Now y'all are seeing that, like, yeah, like you find something you're passionate about and you want to tell your friends about it, and that's what it kind of stems out of. And so, dude, who knows? Who knows? It's so bizarre. It's been nice to like yesterday. So one of my buddies getting married in Nashville, and of course, since it got pushed back to phase 2, they had to like cut down the guest list to like immediate family only. And so a buddy of mine and myself are playing the first dance. And so he and I got together yesterday just to jam, and we were literally just sitting on his front porch, and there were just people walking by. It's late afternoon, families taking a stroll with their kids, stuff like that. And it was, dude, it felt so good. It was, just him with the snare drum and brushes, me with a guitar, and just sitting there. And after we kind of ran through the songs we were going to play, we just kept going. And it was just like, man, this feels awesome. And that's something that like, it's starting to get back to normal. So the bar that I work at here also has had acoustic acts come in and play, and that's great to see. And we were getting almost to the back to where we could get full bands, man, and then everything got shut down, which is such a bummer. But it's like, I don't know, a bunch of places weren't taking the rollout seriously. They weren't following the rules that were set in place, and whether or not you agree with the rules or not, it's just like, it's the principle of, man, follow this for now, just so that later on we can do what we want to do. Whereas now we can push back who knows how far. That's really a disappointing part of it.
Have you played weddings before? What's the song you like?
I've played one wedding before. I played a first dance for a friend from college back in 2012 or 13 maybe. And it was the most nervous I've ever been in my entire life playing a show. Like, because like, same thing. It's like if you play in a bar or whatever, no one's really listening. If you play a song they know, they'll sing along. That's about it. If you're playing, in a theater or whatever size venue, it's like you're playing, you're having fun, but you're not really like, I don't know. Even if you mess up, everyone's still right there with you.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, whatever. You mumble the words, you play a wrong note, whatever. You're playing a first song, dude. This is this is a memory for a lifetime. Yeah. And so that song was a song by the Avett Brothers. This time it's a song by I don't remember who it's by, but it's called Anybody Else is what it's called. So we had that, but then what happened was, so we were supposed to play the first song, me and a couple other buddies of ours that are going to the wedding that know how to play an instrument basically. And so after that, the wedding band was going to take over and play the rest. But now they're not allowed to have a wedding band, so we're playing the first dance, the father-daughter dance, and the mother-son dance. It's like it's the most important songs, man. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. And so luckily, I've been practicing the first dance for like, I don't know, a few months because I knew I was going to be doing that. And then yesterday I found out that we're doing the other one. So like now I got to learn this one song I've never heard before ever. It's this like country song, and it's got all these weird, but it's not like a straightforward country song. It's got all these like crazy melodic lines, and like a couple of lines have just way too many words in them, and it's like oh my gosh, it's giving me such trouble. So that's what I'm stressing about right now. Yeah, is just trying to do that and make sure that like their day goes off without a hit, because they're already stressed enough, man, having to like they sent out all these invitations and told people maybe you're not allowed, you might not be allowed to come into the town. That's the whole thing. So yeah, it'll be cool again. It'll be nice to be playing in front of people. It's like I think it's less than 25 people that would be there, like just the moms, the grandmothers, and that kind of thing. But it'll be nice just to strap a guitar around your neck and play for anyone at all.
Yeah. I did a wedding back in October last year, and they sent me what they were going to do for their first dance, and they were like, we wanted to do it was Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, but the Steven Seagal's version, so it was like banjo-y and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll do my version of it, and I sent it to them, and we were talking about it, and I was like, you will never offend me if you pick the CD over this, because I'm fucking terrified, because the pressure of that. What you were
So much
saying, man.
pressure.
Like, I've played some like big gigs, and I've played like shows I've been nervous about. I've never been more terrified than playing a wedding. And it was, they asked for like my originals and things as well. So I knew that like they'd be happy with it, and the rest of that like wedding party would be like, eh. So I was,
I'm right there with you. I'm literally waiting. Like, I'm dreading that after getting done, one of the grandmothers coming up and being like, you did your best. Like, oh man, like, it'd be brutal.
Yeah. That last one was really nice.
Say what?
Just went out. Your best compliments always, that last one was really nice. You're like, the one I ended on. Thanks so much.
Yeah, exactly. Oh Lord, yeah. We were glad when you got done. Okay, all right. No, who knows? We were messing around trying to figure out, because like all three of the songs are pretty slow. So we were thinking about like trying to throw one in at the end as a surprise, to like, because I don't know what even the rules are, if they're even supposed to have anybody playing or whatever. So like I was curious about playing more than that, because we wanted to play one to like a pick me up, and a shout song, that's a popular wedding song. Looked into that, but it's kind of weird playing it because it's literally just a guitar and a snare drum. So that we might do Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes, just something to like pick the mood up, you know what I mean? It's going to be a pretty bizarre, not that it won't be like the mood will be down, but like the energy, pick the energy up, I guess. So I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to be nervous until we get done on the last song. Yeah. That's just how it's.
And there's a drink in your hand and you're looking back being like, we did okay. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did our best. That's it.
Yeah, no one sends you the footage from after it or anything, or any videos. It's a memory, and that's it.
Yeah, we were playing a show down in Alabama about a year and a half ago, and they the girl had found me online somewhere, and I for sure had only heard like my song South Carolina, which is like definitely, I would say, my more popular song, but a lot of my other stuff doesn't sound like that. And so we're playing like after some golf tournament at a country club in Alabama, very conservative atmosphere. And, we get down there and we're playing an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we're just playing our normal, rock, blues stuff. And we just got done playing Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes, the Black Crowes version. And someone comes up to us and they're like, hey, could you play something we could dance to? And we all kind of side-eye each other being like, that was like our most dancey song we had. So yeah, man, sometimes those cover sets are tough to fill. I've had some opportunities to play weddings before, and I've just told the people, like, listen, like, I guarantee, like, thank you, I appreciate you wanting me to be part of your special day, but like, fine, we're not like the stuff that we play isn't, it's a party in the atmosphere that we have, in the venues that we make, but like in terms of like the wedding setting, like that's not the stuff that we're playing. Is it your grandmother's gonna be mad at you? Like your parents gonna be like, what is this? It's gonna be a whole thing. But
yeah, it's a hard one, man, because of the type of stuff I do, I know that I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
Totally.
And there's always people coming up and asking if I'll do like cover sets and things, and it's kind of been partly out of spite, because it's probably sacrilege to say, but I'm just not a Beatles fan, even though I'm from around here and I can't stand them in any way, shape, or form. I've never learned any of the songs. Hate Oasis, so I've never learned any of their songs. So
are you more of a Stones fan at all?
No,
bro. Okay,
no. Like,
interesting.
It's weird, isn't it? But it's just they've never. But I'm a huge Kiss fan.
Okay, all right, cool. Detroit Rock City, I hear you, brother.
Yeah, but those like three bands, and obviously they're massive British bands, so I'm always getting asked for those, and I've just never learned them. And I've always been kind of like in those pub gigs, doing original material for 2 hours. Totally. And I've always been, it's always the hill I'm willing to die on. But it is like, you always want to try and please people, and you don't want to shit on people's nights. So it's a really hard like balance to find. So it's like learning songs that I enjoy that I can put. Like I do Jolene, shit like that, Rainbow in the Dark. Totally. But it's a really hard balance to find, because as a musician, you're also an entertainer, but you also have to try and find how you want to entertain and your way into it. It's a really weird thing, especially with what like over in the UK, there's like pub acts and wedding acts, which are dancey, feel good, ABBA, all that stuff, which is there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what I do, and it's hard to try and reconcile as an entertainer yourself how you entertain. It's a really weird
Totally.
conversation to have.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's a very good point. You know, a lot of the acts that play on Broadway here are like that. You know what I mean? Because they're literally playing to earn their money that night.
Mm.
So like they have to pander to the crowd. They have to take requests because in order to get a request played, you have to pay. So like that's just part of it. And like so, and from that case, there's a guy here in town that's incredible. His name's Chris Ferreira, man. Like just like total stud. His band is called The Common Good, and they might be one of my favorite bands to watch in the city. I mean, they're amazing. And so like they are like what I think of when I think of like a good. And there's another one, Matt Ferrani has another act, and like where Chris is like I don't know how to separate the two, because it really defeats the purpose of saying how good they both are. But like that's what I think of when I think of a good like entertainment act, but you're right. It's like then when you play in bars, like I didn't grow up learning or listening to country. And so now being in Nashville, people ask me these country songs. I'm like, I don't know. Like, unless it's like a 12-bar blues ripoff or something like that, like I probably don't really know how to play it. And I remember one time I was in Statesboro, Georgia, and I was opening up for a band. This was like 10 years ago. And man, this crowd was just giving me hell for it too, because like all they wanted to hear was some country music, and I knew none. I knew like one Elvis song, and that's not I played that one. And then after that, man, they were just giving me hell for the next 45 minutes of my set, just going in. I remember thinking, then like that's just part of it. You're right. It's like you're an entertainer, you're a musician. At some point, you have to kind of say what you want to portray yourself as on the stage or not. And it's cool as well with the same guys I was talking about from Broadway. Like they have their own artists acts as well. And so they kind of had that separation between the two, where like they can go up and they can play, they'll cover Taylor Swift and Jonas Brothers and One Direction and all that thing, because in the bars people are going to love that. But they also have their original music on the side. When they play that, that's what they play. So when I'm always, here, a 4-hour set, no breaks is the normal.
Fuck.
And so I have nothing but the ultimate respect for all those dudes down to do that, because some of those guys will go and they'll do triples. They'll go to one bar and play from 10 to 2, and then they'll go to another place and play from 2 to 6, and they'll go to another place and play from 6 to 10. It's like mind blowing, dude. And so it's cool to watch bands like that. And that's what another thing is, like when I get asked to play weddings, I'm like, you don't want me. You want someone like that. Someone that's going to get up there and they're going to, they have a horn section and they've got keys and got everything. Soon they do dance moves, and it's all choreographed and it's so well put together. But it's also fun to like, man, when we were over there, man, we played an hour and a half in, maybe a little more, in Ireland. We played an hour and a half in Preston. We played another, I think 2 longer sets, one in Germany and one in Italy. And so, like, dude, it was so much fun. But the same deal, it was like rock and blues. That's pretty much the entirety of it. But everyone was digging it. Everyone was so energetic about it, and it was so refreshing to be able to do that and have everyone like in it the entire time. That was really cool.
And like with like the UK and like European tour, how did the first one come about? Because the first one was last year, wasn't it?
Last September.
Yeah, last September. So how did you go about booking that? Do you have anyone, or do you just kind of book the dates yourself?
Man, I was sending out emails for like 2 years trying to get a yes, just one yes. And so finally I got one, and it was like, once I had the one, it's like, because I'm sending out I have a business email account, but it's still, there's a professionalism that comes with like not having to like directly reach out to a venue or whatever. And so what I was doing is I was looking at bands of my friends that have played over there that are on this somewhere in the same scale of somewhere in the same area of the career that I am.
Yeah.
And so I would look at those venues and I'd write them all down. I had this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is like, it's insane. It's all over the place. Anywhere, I mean, as far reaching as like Eastern Europe. I don't even know, like so bizarre. And I was sending out emails everywhere. I didn't care. Like I'll get there if they say yes. So finally, I think the first one that confirmed was, it might have been Preston actually. It might have been at Ships and Giggles up there. So I had the one, and once I had the one, I could add that to the email saying we have a confirmed date here and we're booking around it. And I think that kind of got the ball rolling. And so from there, again, it was just more emails, and it was so refreshing is that everyone over there was so timely with their responses. Dude, over here, it's like you'll send an email, and a week and a half later, you'll get an email back that says, "Let me check." And it's like, oh my gosh, so fresh. Booking is like is like my least favorite, but also one of the more rewarding parts of being an independent artist and doing it all yourself. Because again, like, you'll wait a week and a half. You're trying to get everything like logistically done, and then a week and a half later, you have a maybe. And then like, okay, do I follow up with this? How long do I wait to follow up? That kind of thing. It's so bizarre. Over there, dude, I would get an email back the next day. And it was always either yes or no. But even if it's a no, it's like, okay, at least I know I can move on to the next venue in that town if that one's crossed off the list. And so it all came together in a matter of like 2-3 months maybe. Last spring, I have a friend that manages a band that goes over there a good bit. And so I used him just throughout the entire process, just asking him all the kind of questions that I possibly could. Be like, what would you recommend with this? What would you recommend with that? And, how would you recommend getting from here to there? And he had great advice on terms of like merchandising and stuff like that. Rather than shipping the merchandise over there, get it made over there, so it's already there when you get there. It's like, God, I would never thought of that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of how the ball got rolling, and then it ended up being 5 shows, I think, in 2 weeks. It was going to be 6. We had a final show in Spain that we ended up canceling because we got picked up to open up for Lynryd Skynryd here in the States. It got moved. We were supposed to play 2 shows with them in August. It got moved to the end of September, and I didn't want to we were literally had to go. We were flown from Spain on Monday, gotten back around Tuesday, early Wednesday morning, and then a day later gotten in the van to drive out to Arizona. And I was like, man, that's gonna be jet lagged. And sure enough, dude, I was jet lagged jet lagged / hungover. We had a lot of fun over there for a while, man. It took me a few days to get back to where I was set. So I was glad that we kind of took that time off just to get back into the groove. The past one in April, I think I was only going to do England. And so, a lot of the, I was expecting it, but a lot of the extra cost comes from just being over there and stuff that you don't expect, especially on a first tour like that, when you've never been in a country, on a continent that everything's fresh and new. Just flying 4 guys and their gear, even if it's, we were doing EasyJet, man. And so we were just the cheapest of the cheap, whatever I could get doing that, or Ryanair, it was like $20 for a ticket, but then you add the luggage and all that stuff like that, and it all adds up, man. So this past time I wanted to do England, and we were going to just do trains the entire time. And so we do that, and then also drive a couple places, because the band that I was going to be using this time were so nice and so generous, and they're like, man, we can just drive and it'll cut down on train costs too. Perfect. Yeah. So I was really looking forward to it, just because I wasn't going to have to worry about checking in for flights and getting everyone their itineraries and stuff like that. So it's such a bummer that it got pushed back, but we'll see what the next one is. I'd love to come back over there next time and do not only just the UK, but also, hit up Berlin. Was amazing last time. We had so much fun there, and Italy was incredible. Italy was the one place where we had the most language barrier, the biggest language barrier, which was funny, because in Germany it was fine. But Italy, it took us until we were all drunk to actually be able to communicate, because I guess then you're talking with your hands as much. It was nuts. But yeah, man, we we had so much. It really was. It was like, and the guy who helped me out, that was helping me with advice, was just like, telling me, man, he's like, you're always gonna remember your first tour up there. He's like, make sure you enjoy it as much as you can, because the first one's always going to be the most memorable. And he wasn't wrong, man. It was definitely something that everything we saw from the time, just even like walking around London. We were in London the longest, and going around there and seeing, Big Ben and seeing Parliament and all that stuff. It was really, really cool.
That's so good, man. Like how you book everything, I think, is the smartest way to do it. Where you just like research people at the same level or just around thereabouts. That's exactly what I've done with my tours. But going on from you booked the tour, not how did you get the Lynryd Skynryd gig, but how did that opportunity arise and what happened there? Because it's fucking Lynryd Skynryd.
Yeah, dude. Right place, right time. I got lucky with a connection. So a bar that I used to work at, one of my regulars that came in, I got to know, and then I run into him at workout classes and stuff like that, and had no idea what he did. Knew he drove a really nice car. That's about it. And so just would always see him around, and got to know him really well. Turns out that he runs a very big management company here in Nashville, and so I don't see him for a couple years, randomly run into him and start talking. And he's, I had gone in and talked with him before that 2-year gap, just about, asking advice and kind of picking his brain a little bit on what he saw in terms of what was beneficial for where I was in my career and whatever. So don't see him for 2 years, randomly run into him, talk to him for a little bit. He's like, dude, let's get together again. Let's show me some of your new stuff, what you've been working on. So I go in, I show him stuff. And he was nice enough to it's funny. He was like, they manage a ton of people. And so he asked me, he's like, I could probably get you on an opening gig. And I'm thinking, he's going to put me on some like some band that he just signed and opening in a dive bar somewhere, which I'd have been just as happy with that. Like, yeah, dude, like, whatever you can put me on, thanks. And all of a sudden he's like, I think I have a 1st of 3 with Skynryd, if you're interested in that. And I'm like, I thought he was fucking with me initially. I was like, dude, what? Sure. Yeah. And then it turned out he was not. And so it was, it by itself was just as much of an endeavor almost as the Europe thing.
Really?
Because this was all happening around the same time. The time that I'm booking the Europe thing is the time that I'm talking with him about this happening. And, and I'm literally the type of person that I don't believe it's going to happen until I'm stepping on the stage. Like, well, something's going to mess up. Something's going to get canceled. Something's going to go wrong to where it's not going to happen. So sure enough, the initial dates were in August. And one of the original members, one of the guitarists, had to have heart surgery in August, so the dates get moved. So then I'm thinking, oh, here we go. It's like that's gonna happen. And it's gonna be right in the middle of when I'm in Europe, and I'm not gonna be able to play it, and it's gonna be such a bummer. Well, it ends up coming. It's the weekend after we get back, so I'm like, perfect. So that's the whole thing. So then, the day we're supposed to leave, the van that we had booked from, so this is September, end of September, the van that we had booked since early May had gotten somehow mixed up and given to the wrong person. And so I'm literally texting the guy being like, hey man, I'm on the way to pick it up to where we've been talking about all week, me picking it up. And he's like, I thought we were talking about next week. I have it written down for you for next week. It's in Alabama right now. Oh. I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta get how many guys was it? I gotta get 7 guys, 17 hours across the country for the biggest show I've ever played in my lifetime. And we gotta leave in 5 hours. How are we gonna do this? And to the dude's credit, he helped me out every possible way he could to make sure that I got what I needed. We got a new different van and trailer and stuff like that. But it was just more of the same, just something's got to go wrong. So by the time we finally got there, it was such a fight that I've been like, oh man, we fought for this one, dude, and it was a really cool experience. And then after that, everything went off with a hitch, or without a hitch. Then yeah, it was a really special. My dad got to come out for it, and so like he got to stand side stage and chum it up with all these dudes that he had seen when he was in college and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
That's so cool, man. And like with like it's it's Lynryd Skynryd. Like with those shows, did you see like was there a tangible increase in like social media or like merch and
oh yeah, definitely. Merch, not so much. We definitely sold more merch in Europe than I've ever sold in any show in the States, including the Skynryd one. Yeah, man. Like, merch. I think we sold like 6 shirts in the Skynryd song. Like, it was not a lot. But like, social media for sure. I mean, and not even just like the numbers. You'd see the interactions as well, which is really cool because that's the genuine stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of times someone will follow you and 2 days later unfollow you just because either you haven't posted or you posted a picture of some food they didn't like or something. I don't know. So, but it was it was people that were interacting and were messaging me or commenting saying hey, we were at the show, we really enjoyed it, that sort of thing. That's really cool to see. Yeah, it's now it's a bummer because their spring tour got canceled. Yeah, and so now it's with bands like that, man. It's scary. Not I don't know, scary is a bold word to use, but like it's like bands like Motley Crue was supposed to have their tour this past summer. Haven't toured in 6 years, and they were supposed to have their first tour back. The Stones, I was supposed to see Motley Crue 3 times. I was supposed to see Rolling Stones twice. That's it's like these bands, dude, like it's weird to say, but like they're all getting older. You know what I mean? And like who knows at what point they're finally just gonna be like, you know what, like it's nice making this money, but also I have been on the rock and roll lifestyle for 6 decades. I'm ready to just chill out. And that's like the scary part for me is like, man, these bands are getting to the end of their runs. Like I never got to see Greg Allman toward the end of his incredible career, and that's always been a bummer. And there's a few other, like John Prine just passed away. I never got to see him. That was such a bummer. I'm glad Guns N' Roses is another one though. It's like I'm glad they're back, but who knows at what point they decided to call it quits. And so with Skynryd, man, it's like every time this kind of happens, obviously you're never really sure when. You're hoping that it's not an if thing, it's a when thing, but like hopefully they get back on the road as soon as they can in 2021.
Yeah, man, it sucks. Like for last month I had tickets. Kiss were meant to be playing Donington and it was their last UK date. It was meant to be the last one, end of the road tour. Obviously that's fell through, so it's like, are they gonna get rebooked for next year? And it's where you don't know. And like the thing I'm really hoping for was it's meant to be like a 5-year run Kiss are doing. And I've like my dad brought me up on them, and I've just got like a little nephew who's 4 next month. So I'm hoping if he's 5 next year, he might be old enough to come if Kiss rebook, and then we could get like the 3 generations of us with my brother-in-law. But it is like with these type of legacy bands, are they going to be playing again? Because I had tickets to see Judas Priest, I had tickets to see Ozzy Osbourne, and he got cancelled. He was meant to play last year. And it got rescheduled. Or it might have been I think it might have been 2018 he was meant to play. Then he had an injury, got rescheduled, and it's been just getting pushed back to the point where I'm convinced I'm not going to get to see Ozzy again. But luckily I've seen him before, but I don't know if he's going to like play again.
Yeah. That's it's terrifying. Like so Kiss came through here. Actually, I have the poster on the wall. Let's see. I don't say a date, it just says this city. It was probably a year and a half ago. I want to say it was like last spring. That was my first time. I'd never seen them before. But it was like one of those things that enough of those, like you say, the legacy bands, like enough of them had come through that I had missed. Like last time, I remember I had just gotten done reading The Heroin Diaries by Nikki Sixx for the second time. And the night I got done reading it, I remember like putting the book down and opening up Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and people were at the Motley Crue show in Nashville, and I had no idea they were even playing that night. I was so mad at myself. That happened with Guns N' Roses last time they played here. It's like all these people that I just didn't know. So I made a point. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna let that happen anymore. I've like gotten back on like staying like up on who's playing, who's coming, and stuff like that. So so I saw Kiss the last time they came through, Iron Maiden the last time they came through, Paul Simon, Elton John, and so that's something like, again, just because you never know when. Like I didn't get to see Tom Petty last time he played. That kills me. Like it's something you always that sound is something, like you said, that we grew up listening. When you go see someone that you grew up listening to, Paul Simon was one that like I had chills the entire time. Dude, we were, it was in the arena here. We were on the top row or the second to top row. We were nowhere close to the stage, but man, listening to him play those songs that you literally have heard since you can remember hearing, like that's a really cool experience to have. And so that's something that I'm hoping that this year, maybe is even for the better. Maybe they, they're not as run down. They had a year to like kind of like take a breath and not be completely burned out of the whole thing. Yeah, that could be a silver lining that hopefully happens.
Yeah, because like the John Prine thing, like not only does it fucking suck that John Prine isn't with us anymore, but he played Manchester the other year, which is like an hour away from me, and I was like, it was like a bit expensive, but I was like, I'll wait. Then he booked, and I was like, oh, sick, he's playing again. It got cancelled because of his health, and then he went back to the States, and then obviously, and it's one of those things where you like, it's just like I should have just paid the fucking 40 quid the year to go and gone. But and I think that if there's anything that like this year does, is it's the wake up call for how fragile not only is the live scene but these artists, because it's even like I remember like Avenged Sevenfold, I saw them just before the Rev died, and he was 30. And I remember seeing Slipknot just before Paul Gray died, and it's like even just these bands that you love, even the young ones aren't like immortal, and it's a really weird thing to think about. And like, so always like pick up a ticket when you can. Really,
that's a very good perspective to have, man. Especially that on the young bands, man. That's so true. I mean, these guys have been on the road for a long time, and a lot of them have substance issues. A lot of them just have failing health because they're being pushed to the limit of playing as many shows as possible to try and make money to pay the label back, that sort of thing. It's like that, and so you never know, like the lineup that's coming to you. Even if you're saying, "Oh, well, I can't go this time. I gotta work," or I'll see them next time. They'll be touring again the next year. It's like that lineup might not be there. Yeah, it might be a different drummer, it might be a different bassist, but like the feel isn't gonna be the same. And so that's a very, very cool. I hadn't thought about that from that angle.
Yeah, it's a weird one, man, and especially like it's still every year Motorhead toured the winter. They always toured like an October to November tour in the UK. And Lemmy, I think he died 4 years ago now. And I still kind of like when the festival season's over and they announce the winter gigs, I'm always still kind of expecting like the winter dates of like Motorhead, because you could really set your watch to it. And it's such like a weird thing when these like big bands go, there's just a vacuum for them. And it's such like a sad and like the power of music, really.
Yeah. You're right also about the how everything, the fragile state of it, man. Like hopefully not even just the big bands, man. I'm hoping that like when we come back from this, people want to go, because like so in a city like Nashville, there's live music everywhere all the time, and there's cities like this all over the world where there's so much to do every night of the week, so much to see, and it's going to be pretty world-class entertainment. But like you kind of get used to it, you know what I mean? It's like, and that's something that I'm hoping personally to not forget after all this is done. Like not necessarily going out every night, it's expensive, but like being able to take advantage of the fact that on a random Monday or Tuesday there's going to be some incredible act playing. They might not ever play again, even if it's like a band that's on the way up. Maybe you might see them in a venue with 20 people, and the next time they play this town, they're playing at the Ryman, sold out to 2,500, that sort of thing. So that's kind of one a part of the perspective that I'm hoping to get out of this, just because like that's a coming from someone that wants to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's like that's something that I'm hoping other people are thinking as well. Like they want to go out and they want to enjoy seeing live music or seeing live arts, whether it's dance or anything. That's a big part of just getting back to normal is being able to like just go out and be entertained by someone who's good at entertaining.
Yeah, because that's basically what's happened with me and you, because you played last year in September and I think I had a gig or there was something booked so I couldn't come see you. And then it was April and I think there was meant to be I was doing a show the day you were doing a show. So again, it's like missing out on you. And then you were saying you might be back September. And I'm like, when the fuck am I going to get to see Drew Dixon play? And it's
now the place we're supposed to play in Liverpool shut down.
Yeah, they've turned into a completely just a record store now because of how business is. But again, I think
that's such a bummer. It's like think about how many cool ass venues. Like I was so excited to play there. So there's a venue here in town that's one of my favorites to play. It's called The Basement, and it was literally the basement of a record store. And so it's like, dude, how many venues like that aren't going to be able to recover from all this shutdown because they've got to turn their, they've got to turn their inventory into what they're not inventory. They got to turn their income stream into what their inventory is.
Yeah.
It's nuts, man.
That's the thing, because I've been looking at trying to book tours and stuff for next year, but at the moment, you don't even know what venues are going to be standing at the end.
Yeah.
So it's such a weird, like, limbo to be in right now.
Mm-hmm. Totally, man. Totally. Like the Europe stuff for September is like, I mean, I'm betting that I can't imagine that it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Just like judging about how everything is being like pushed back or forward and just the ebb and flow of it all. And like, and especially in the States, man, so my buddies that did that Chattanooga show, I don't even know. I think they happened to jump on a bill with someone else who already had the show or something like that. But it's like I can't imagine emailing someone right now and being like, hey, when are you guys going to start booking again?
Yeah.
I wish we knew. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's like the last email they need right now.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like God. So I'm I still bartend here, and so I see it in our bar that we bartend. It's like, we've got these I don't know. We have these two different stage setups. Sort of trying to figure out how to describe it. So one's like a full band setup, and one's one made for like an acoustic act. But like, even still, I mean, I have no idea when to say we might be able to like put a full band back.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like if we do have a full band, are we gonna allow people to stand around? You have to be seated, that whole thing, and it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's like you can't let it frustrate you too much because you can't change it.
You know what I mean? It's an inevitability. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly, and you're only gonna drive yourself mad trying to focus on it too much.
Yeah, I remember ages ago I was like getting like just the worries of the will, and you just stress out about like anything that could happen, and I just had like a breakthrough of if I can't directly affect it, I shouldn't worry about it. And it takes a minute because even this morning we got locked out of our house.
Oh no!
Yeah, and the key was still in the door, and it's a composite door, so it locks like straight away behind you. So the door shut. I looked at my girlfriend, and I was like, "Where are the keys?" And she was like, "In the house." It's like, "Fuck!" And I was like so angry for like 30 seconds, but then I was like, "There's nothing I can do about it right now." So I just had to like phone a locksmith to come get it. And it's one of those things where you do just have to kind of take a breath and be like, what can I change right now? And it's such a freeing mental attitude to try and like maintain, but it's so hard to do.
Oh, absolutely, man. It definitely it takes practice doing, and like I'm not a naturally stressed person, but like it's a stressful time regardless of your personality right now, because there's so much uncertainty and there's so much I don't know, just like overall chaos, and from like in any whether it's politics, whether it's civil rights, whether it's just the shutdown itself. It's like there's so much going on. There's so much that you can be stressed about, and like the things that you can change, then focus on that. The things that are grand and like this shutdown and and the pandemic, man, it's like that's something you sort of kind of have to roll the punches in.
Yeah.
Like it's just like what we love, what you and I love doing is being on stage playing music, and if that's like and if that's a trivial part in terms of the comeback, then you know you kind of have to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't write a lot during the shutdown. You know, I probably wrote a handful of songs, but in the very beginning, well, the stuff I was writing wasn't very inspired. It wasn't very good. And so I didn't for a while. I was put it aside because every time I would sit down and try to, there was nothing genuine there that I wanted to write about. And so then finally, man, like once stuff started opening back up and I started, you know, getting back behind the bar, being able to serve people and interact with people, not just, you know, through a computer screen, then the writing came back.
Yeah.
Then it was just like I'm actually living, not just, you know, living via Netflix, that sort of thing, you know? And so that's been a cool thing to see. And that gives me encouragement, knowing that, you know, this isn't the forever thing. As much as it sucks right now, it's a bummer. It is, but there's no denying that. It's like there's still, the stuff is going to come back around, and you know you'll get back to doing what it was, hopefully doing what it was you were doing before. Whether it's on the same scale or not remains to be seen, but like you're still going to be able to come back. And we've got 4 songs that we recorded right before the shutdown, man. And like all we had to do was get background vocals on it, and then the shutdown happened.
Fuck.
And it was like, oh man, just like we were right there. We were so close. But again, it's like you can choose to look at it like, you know, why is this happening to me? Why I was almost had all this content, or you can look at it like, okay, well, I'm excited because I can focus on that throughout this entire time and make sure when the, you know, when stuff starts opening back up, 1, we get right back in the studio. 2, we start working on album artwork. 3, we start working on marketing. Like, how are we going to roll this out in this new platform where everyone's at home, that sort of thing. So that's been one thing that's kept me creatively, I don't want to say satisfied, but creative, like, has been at least helping me stay focused on something creative, because I can that and still develop it more, I guess.
Yeah, that's the best thing, man. I think that's the best like mentality to have. Like, I'm so lucky that like I really got lucky with this podcast, because I started recording late February when we were kind of, like, even on the first podcast with the Crapsons and this punk band, we were kind of talking about the coronavirus and what was happening in other countries. And then the first episode I released was with Sean James, and that was the last gig he's ever played. Like, he's played so far, and that was the last gig I ever went to. And then I had like enough of a back catalog of these to edit and put out and focus on this, that it's been really like a great little distraction to do. And then I've got an album release. So tomorrow I have a single coming out, and in August I have the full album coming out. So it's nice to have that, but I've not really touched my guitar, and I've not written a new song in months. But it's been nice to have these other creative endeavors to like mess around with and doing things.
Whatever it takes, man. Like, dude, I was doing like scratch boarding, which, you know what that is?
Which?
Scratch boarding. It's like, I don't know how to explain. I don't know what the stuff is. Like, you know, dude, my Amazon account was just blowing up constantly with random shit that I wanted to keep my mind busy. So it's like, you know, it's a piece of paper that has like a black wax on it, and the background's white, and you just scratch off the things. Like, here, hang on. Yeah, so I basically just find like black and white images online and just print them off, and then copy them basically with like to scratch them off. So like this.
Sick.
Yeah, so like the black is already on there, and you take it comes with a little pick, and you just scratch it off so it's white underneath. So I did that one, and then this one I'm giving to a friend.
Nice. That's so cool.
So I got into that for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
I was just doing that, you know, and that was my creative endeavor for however long, just to like, I don't know, to satisfy my need to create. But then, in the past like 2 weeks, I've written 2 songs, both of which I like. And it's like, it's so nice to like get back to that. And I had a guitar come in right at the beginning of the shutdown, that I had ordered like 2 months before, but I thought I was like back ordered. So that was nice too. I just had something that I could, sit there and just mess around with. And that was, I don't know, something at least, because same deal. I had gotten so, I didn't want to sit down and play guitar. I didn't want to just, for a couple hours every day, just go through the same old motions. And then that came in and kind of inspired me to, get up and write some new riffs and stuff like that. And so that one of those riffs that I wrote back in like the very end of March, ended up going into the song that we wrote 2 weeks ago. And so it's like, it's nice to see some of the things kind of come back around.
And what's like your process with writing songs? So is it like riff orientated, and then you have like lyric clippings or an idea for words, or is it you take it to the band and build like a full song?
It kind of changes. I don't know. The recipe I feel like is always kind of different. So like Madam D's, we had the riff first. So we had that bluesy, swampy riff, and then like a week and a half later, I had this crazy dream, and I woke up and I wrote down as much as I could remember. And so I hit my buddy up and I was like, dude, I got a riff, got an idea, we gotta write a song. And we knocked it out in like under 2 hours. And so that was a very easy one. And then like Whiskey and Wine, I'd had that idea for a long time. And then brought it up in a songwriting thing, and we kind of started fleshing out the notes to that. And so it changes every time, man. And I enjoy it like that. Like having a recipe or one recipe that you follow every time works for some people. You know what I mean? Like how do you go about it usually?
Like I think it is different, because it's sometimes it's even like I'll think of something just as like a couplet or a 2-line phrase that I think is like it has like my perspective on it, and I'll just write that down and I'll leave it somewhere. And then if I'm just like noodling on a guitar and it might pop into my head, then it'll remind me. Sometimes I'll just have like a chord structure and a riff, and I'll just keep playing that and think what that kind of brings out of me in terms of lyrical content and stuff. But I think it's the same thing. I think it's like there's no set recipe or idea to it. It's just kind of what you pull out at that time.
Absolutely. And I think that's a fun way for me. That's a fun way to write, just because like the stuff that resonates with me is stuff that like makes me visualize stuff. It makes me kind of feel whatever the person's singing. And so creating like that is kind of the same way. It's like we were saying, like you have like a chord structure. It's like, what is that chord structure making you feel? And that's what you start writing. That's and that's a cool way to and then, sometimes you get stuck halfway through and you like lose you because you're trying to stay in that space as long as you can. Then you like lose it. You're like, oh no. You'll write one line that just doesn't fit, and you're just like, oh man, I lost it. I was there and I lost it. You gotta wait and see whenever you can get back into it. Yeah, it's like it's funny, like co-writing. It's a funny thing it's something you have to get comfortable with in terms of like being comfortable enough in the room to sound like an idiot, to say, hey, what if we said this? Because either that's going to be a great idea or it's going to be real dumb. But either way, you have to be comfortable enough to at least get it out and say it and able to create with someone else. I'm trying to think like the song we wrote 2 weeks ago. We were writing lyrics. So a buddy of ours just got a job at a new studio, and he wanted some practice in the new room and on the new board. And so he got some of his buddies to come in and jam, essentially. So we got together and wrote this song beforehand. And I mean, dude, it was like literally kind of like Madam D's. It was like I had this riff, I had this idea, I'd written down a couple lyrics. And the lyrics I wrote down were like, dude, it was literally a matter of like 5 minutes. And I was just like typing them out on my phone, playing the riff. And then we got in there, fleshed the rest of it out. We're like, oh, that sounds really cool. And it's not a deep song. It's not super significant. There's not a lot of like, there's no underlying tone, political, or like, it's not Bob Dylan. It's like, it's very much on the surface. It's a fun rock and roll song. And that sometimes those are a lot, because like, dude, does it rhyme? Does it sound cool? Yeah. Move on, that sort of thing. But then and otherwise, it's like, dude, I've been in a room for 5 hours. So a song actually just came out last Friday for this organization called Creative Vets. And we were in this room for 5 hours with this veteran, and he's telling us this story about, his life and his experience overseas, and we're writing a song about it. And then we're going in, and it's like, you're going pretty deep, and it's pretty heavy, but it's we were literally in there for 5-6 hours. And it was just as rewarding walking out of there, just because you're just like, man, like that was so cool, that being able to turn an experience that he had like that into something kind of more uplifting. So it's like neither of those creative processes is like how it should be done. It's just that's sometimes how we do it, which is cool.
Yeah. That's such an interesting thing. There's no always set formula, but with like co-writes, because the only person I ever really wrote with was my brother-in-law when we were in a band back in the day. But then even then I was still like, I did all the lyrics. With co-writes, is it like, how many people do you write with sometimes? Or like what's?
Depends, man. It took me a while to start co-writing in Nashville. That was definitely an idea that was pretty foreign to me. I had always written by myself, and up until I'd been in Nashville for a couple of years, did I finally start. And the reason I did, I think one of the first co-writes was actually Whiskey and Wine. It was a friend of a friend, and he was starting to get into the artist side of music. And so we were like, hey man, let's sit down and just start jamming, see what happens. So I brought a couple ideas. He had a couple ideas. And that particular write, Whiskey and Wine, was just the two of us. But I want to say the first co-write I ever did was 3 people. It was that same guy, myself, and a guy whose studio we were in basically at the time. So he was able to like kind of put a track behind what we were doing. I think the most I've ever written with, I want to say like it was 5 total, and that literally came about because like it was supposed to be 3 of us. No, yeah, it's supposed to be 3 of us, and we were sitting around drinking at a bar, about to go up and write. They were like, whatever, let's give these other guys a call too. So they came over, and it was just a fun whatever song. And so, but a lot of time 2 or 3 is usually kind of like the way to go. Yeah. So if you have too many people in there, there's too many ideas, and it's like too many ways that the thing can be pulled. 2 is great because you're bouncing ideas off of each other, especially something that you've written with before, you've gotten comfortable with. You can kind of start to like guess where they're going and kind of feel what they're wanting from the song. 3 is great too, because you have one extra mind in there. Like if you're both stuck on this one line, there's a third voice saying, "What is this?" You're like, there we go. So that's fun, man. And it's like, with the shutdown, I did a couple like FaceTime writes. Those were miserable because like the song, I think the 2 songs we got out of them were cool songs, but like the lag, part of like in a room with someone, strum a song, and you're trying to play along because you're trying to like, you're running the song down, you're playing along with them, trying to see what words work, what ideas work. But like when it's like all laggy and you can't really match up, and you're trying to read along and sing along, it was very confusing. So I gave up on that. I'm trying to lose my train of thought. Oh, so now like the production is coming to so much of like or tracks come into a lot of like country music. There's so many track people here in town. They're basically just these dudes that have these incredible home studios that like you can sit there and write with them, and it's a fun way to create too, because like guitar or a guitar and a keyboard maybe to write a song, man, if you get in with a guy who knows his way around the Pro Tools or Logic or whatever, and this guy has a track built up, and that alone makes your mind think in so many different ways. When you already have like a song behind it, and like you got bass and drums and guitars and all stuff, and then you're thinking of what lyrics can go off of that. It's like writing with a full band. Pretty cool.
Switch this on as well. But that's the thing, because I've like with not just like being in the UK, but the only real songwriting experience I have is like on my own. There was some in high school and university and stuff, but there's kind of, I don't know if it's the UK scene itself, but there's not a lot of collaboration in terms of writing and things. So I don't know, like there's songwriters retreats, it's more like towards the folk style, but I've always been intrigued in how like a songwriter's like workshop or like when people meet up and write things, it's always such an interesting thing to see people pull apart and approach it kind of methodically, because, you know, being a songwriter is a job, but then how they do it is a different level, I think, to that's like you go into a room and then that's the goal of the day. That's such a strange.
Totally. Yeah, you're right, man. And it's one of those things of like, how do you keep that? You know, it's like they say with anybody that, you know, loves something and does it as a job, it's like the toughest part is keeping that love for it. And so when you're, you know, like these guys that are signed up to publishing houses and stuff like that, you know, you got to turn in a certain number of songs every year. And it's like, you know, are you turning in that many songs because they were good songs? Or are you turning them in because that's how many you had?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. And so that kind of, you know, can throw a bit of a dark veil over it, but like the guys that do it very successfully, a lot of them are incredible songwriters. It's just, like, just the fact that like some of the ones that they get cut, some of the ones that make the most money probably weren't the ones that they were the most proud of when they left the room that day. It just happened to be the most catchy or the right timing for it. You know, guys like Shane McAnally, who's got like, I don't know, 1 billion number ones. Like, he's got so many incredible songwriter, you know? And it's like, I would always, or like, I think it's Ashley Gorley. These guys basically just have cut after cut, smash after smash. I'd be interested to know which ones like day of that they wrote that song, which ones they were like, that's a pretty cool one, or which ones they were like, well, I hope this one gets cut, and then it becomes a number one, you know, that kind of thing. That's always interesting to me. And same deal. It's like, are those dudes creatures of habit that when they get in, they have a certain formula that they like to follow, or it's like, you know, the words come first sometimes, and the music comes first to others. Never really know, dude.
No, it's crazy, man. But with your new record, so you've got everything done except the backing vocals of it.
So we finally got back into the studio in the very end of May. So it's all done. I actually just got the masters back 2 days ago. What's today? Today's Thursday. I got back on Monday. So it's all done now. I'm so excited. The album artwork, we did a photo shoot for it a few weeks ago. So the album artwork's done, but then how we're gonna roll it out is that we're gonna do like, I wanted an EP because I've been doing singles for so long that I've never had like a collection to sell honestly, it all stems from Europe again, because like in the States, no one's selling CDs at the shows anyways most of the time.
Really?
Up there, it's like, do people buy it? Cool, because here no one buys it. They might have them there. They'll have like a handful of CDs at the show, but they're not going to sell them. You know what I mean? Because people are going to go up and be like, "Oh, you on iTunes? Cool, I'll just get there." Whereas over in Europe, people were asking me for CDs, and so I never made an album like that of all this stuff I've created over the past like 6 years. So with this, I wanted an EP that we had 4 songs made as an EP.
Yeah.
How we're going to roll it out is we're going to basically do each song like a single. So we'll release 3 songs as singles, and then the 4th will be the EP with an unreleased track.
Ah, smart, man. That's such an interesting idea. That's blowing my mind, because I recently read an article about like the death of album sales. But I studied music through uni like a few years ago. So I've been hearing about the death of album sales for the last 15 years.
Totally.
And it was like the singles is definitely like the smarter way to go for like social media algorithms, reach, and engagement. But then for me, it was just like when I was saying I was doing this album, everyone was like, is it going to get physical copies? And that was what's always pushed me to do a full record. And that's why like I'm doing CD and vinyl with it, which is got fuck ton of it. But to me, it's like the Europeans and like some like the UK, they will put their money in there. Like they put their hand in the pocket to pay for those type of things. It's such a weird like argument for both.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I've got the first money I made over there was actually in Preston, and framed somewhere. Because I mean, it was like they bought 2 CDs, so it was like 20 pounds or something like that. But yeah, and then like so it was very similar to me. It's like I'd always put out singles, which is great because like it's constant content. But it also, I mean, even making a single costs money, man. Like the studio time, the mixing, the mastering, you know, and even if you get buddies to come in and play on the track, it's like you want to take them out for a round of drinks, whatever. That's still money. So it's the same deal. It's like I wanted something that if I was going to spend this money on, I wanted to have something like more than just one song out of it.
Yeah.
And so I had my cousin, I guess I don't know how to cousin-in-law. He's married to my first cousin. He's mixed all of my songs. He is an incredible engineer. He used to live out in LA, and he was working on a lot of pop and hip hop tracks. And so it's cool taking my like kind of gritty blues stuff and sending it to him, because his ear turns it a different way, and always that low end always comes back so great. And like you know, like so basically we brought him in to produce this as well and mix it. So he came up to Nashville for a couple of days back in February, and man, just like listening to like the end product now, it's so cool. And thinking, I'm so glad we did every step along the way. I'm glad we did what we did. And I was talking to him yesterday, the day before, and he's like, yeah, man, he's like, just that the bass drum, I just wanted to sound like the bass drum on Bomb Track. And I was like, I love that you think that, but like, who thinks that? You know, it's like that one specific sound he wanted from that. You know what I mean? And he nailed it. It sounds just like it. But I would never. I just knew that I loved how the entire drum sounded. He was like, yeah, I wanted it to sound exactly like that. It's like, God, that's a perspective that is beyond me. That's so cool that like that's the benefit of bringing in an outside ear, you know. Which I mean, because if we had gone in there without him in the studio, it'd just been like us, you know, oh, that sounds pretty good. Let's record. That's that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, that's like definitely the thing, because obviously like I'm just me and my guitar for the entire time. So with this record, I brought in pedal steel and fiddle, and like what I gave them like a paragraph of like, this song is like this, like it's haunting, it's this, it's atmospheric, and then I didn't give them any like melody or notes or anything. Then what they brought back just like amplified it to another level. And when it goes through like a mix and a master from someone else's ear as well, it just takes what you think to like it's made me as an artist sound so much better than I actually am.
I feel the same way. It's nice surrounding yourself with better musicians than you are, because I can fuck up as much as I want, and everyone else just covers it up. It's fine.
Yeah, but we're getting on to like the hour mark, man. I don't want to take up too much of your day with it.
Oh, all good, brother.
When do you reckon your EP is going to be out?
Dude, so we haven't put the entire timeline out. I'm hoping that the first track's gonna be called "Help Me," and it's like this stuff is definitely a lot like more rock and a lot heavier than my other stuff. But hoping, what's today? The 9th. I was actually trying to look at this. So I'm hoping the end of July. So like, you know, now I mean I could put it out on a Friday because that's when most comes out. But at the same time, I can put out any other day of the week you want. So hopefully the last 2 weeks of July, because obviously you want to get a little bit of promotion in there, pre-sale, whatnot. So maybe that last week of July for the first one, and then, you know, 4 weeks later the next one, 4 weeks later the next one, and 4 weeks later. So like by October the entire thing would be out. But these other songs would be coming out along the way, just like kind of gradually getting out there.
Yeah. And do you, like, with the marketing and like the rollout and stuff, is it just yourself doing it, or do you get anyone like outside PR in, or is it?
I thought about getting someone else. So the guy that I used over in UK is amazing. His name's Adam Jeffrey Jones. And he's one guy that helped me out just in terms of like promoting the tour and that sort of thing. And I can see the benefit of it, but again, it's expensive, man. Yep. It's like you're paying. I mean, you definitely. It's nice to find something that what you pay for is what you get, and that was definitely the case with Adam over there. It was, I mean, you know, so beneficial to have him, and so I can see the benefit of doing it. It's just a matter of, you know, it's like, do I want to show off the money? It's always worth it. It's worth it for sure. It's the whole thing, like saving money by turning the on sign off. You know, it's like you gotta spend the money on something like that. So I have not put together a plan for getting it, you know, promote it or stuff like that. But that's also with like doing it one single at a time. I can kind of like see what works, what doesn't along the way. Because dude, like right now, the normal methods of marketing and promotion and advertising might not be the same as they were back in March when everything shut down.
No, so, it's completely out the window. And like what I like about you is like you are really like it's kind of like it almost sounds dirty to say someone's business minded when they're a musician, but you have such like a logical head on you to like how you're going to approach things. And I think that's why I did this podcast. I knew you'd be great to talk to, is because you do lay things out like that as an independent musician, and you kind of like myself, like you know how to market things, and you know if anyone listens, they can take that away from it. I've done the same thing for me, but I've also for the next life for the album, I've paid a PR person, which has cost me. It was a mid-level guy, so it's not like I'm not too much out of pocket. But for me, it was like I'm spending like a few thousand on this record. I need to put some money into the promotional side of it that I don't have. And
that's something to learn, man. Something to learn. Like you spend all this money up front, but that's not the end of it. Because if that's the end of it, then you basically just spend a bunch of money to have something put on the shelf. You know, you kind of have to keep spending money along the way in order to keep making sure that the investment that you made initially keeps getting pushed back around into the public's face. And that's something that it took me a lot of singles going through to learn. I had no idea because no one told me. But yeah, you're right. It's something you got to put the money in. It sucks, but you got to do it.
Yeah, and then for me as well, it was looking at those, because everything I sent out for like my first EPs, I got good reviews on and stuff. I've gone back to them straight away. This time with the network and contacts that they've built up, I can see who responds, and then on the next one, or if I'm just doing a single, it's not a bigger release, I can then hit them up on my own with my own marketing strategy. And it's a really interesting learning process, I think, for like the music world and things. And that's kind of like my approach for it for this.
That's rad. That's a really cool approach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've all just got to try and muddle our way through at the moment. But I'm going to let you go, dude.
Exactly, dude.
Thank you so much for sitting down.
Thanks for having me on, man. This is awesome. This
is such a fucking blast, man. And you're such a nice, eloquent person to have on that. I'm so happy that I got to chat with you. And
dude, let's do it again, man. It's nice to fucking just sit here and shoot the shit. But after we've been just like talking via email, text, and Instagram for so long.
Yeah, but it fucking sucks that September's getting pushed back. So part 2 of this podcast is gonna be face to fucking face in 2021. I promise you that.
Good. It better be, man.
Thank you so much, dude. I'll hit stop on this now.
Cool. All good.
And there we have it, episode 10 of Into the Van done. We're in double figures now, and I'm so happy that this was the podcast that led us to that. I've got some great guests booked, as I'm still reaching out to some American folk that I admire, respect, and know, to try and get them on before, hopefully the pandemic will ease and I'll be able to hit up all my local and UK friends. But I wanted to do as much of this face-to-face as I can. And while I can't, I'm taking advantage of that and hitting up some people overseas that I wouldn't get a chance to talk to straight away. So I really hope you've enjoyed this. Go check out Drew Dixon. He's a fucking great guy. He's going to be back over in UK and Europe as soon as he can. He's touring the States. His music's fucking brilliant. Yeah, enough said. Stay safe, guys. Have a good one.